Hi party people, welcome to my corner office that I have been working in since quarantine started. Thought I'd come up here so that I could actually control the volume surrounding me a little bit. It's one of the quieter parts of the house, in part because I have a door that I can shut. Anyway, it's September. It's time. It's past time for a September garden tour. You may or may not know that I have school-age kids. If not, you know now. And so September is every single year a daunting time, a very busy time for us parents out there. But especially this year, since we were fully remote last year, I had to take some time to really focus on getting them into their new routine. So September garden tour took a bit of a backseat for a while, but I'm hoping if the weather holds up today, that I can give you a little tour of what's happening at this point. As a reminder, we are in my garden, we are in zone 6B. What that means in like the broad terms is that it's still pretty warm here. There's still more growing season to be had. That said, I feel like August had a tremendous amount of heat and humidity followed by a really long dry spell, I feel like. Pretty extreme temperatures and conditions this year. And so I feel like the garden looks kind of crispy in some ways. And not everything did as well as it normally has done for me in the past. That's fair. It's a great opportunity, and that's something that I wanted to make sure to focus on with this garden tour at this time of year, as we're still in the growing season. The plants are still out there, but the time we have left with them for this season is winding down, that it's important to think about, you know, what you want your garden to look like next year. I'm very much about gardens being a physical artifact that we can use for mindfulness. Working in the garden, appreciating your garden can help you really live in the now. But this is one of those times where you want to be thinking about the garden you're going to grow next year. And the hard part is that when the seed catalogs arrive for next year, at least here in zone 6B, there's going to be snow on the ground and most of my plants are going to be dead. So it can be really difficult to remember what things were like, what you enjoyed, what didn't do so well, when everything is basically dormant for the season. So when we walk around the garden today, I want to make sure that I'm taking a moment to think about what plants have really done a great job and I want more of next year, which plants have not done so well, which plants could have benefited from a little TLC above and beyond what I gave them this year. It's something that you do on the micro scale, I feel like every single time you visit the garden, but this time around, we really want to be thinking about it. At least I really want to be thinking about it, because it won't be long until fall turns to winter, etc., etc. All right, let's go see what's going on in the garden. I keep eyeballing out the window, in case you can't notice, because there seems to be some cloudiness coming in. Hopefully that'll be nice so that I'm not squinting in the sunlight, but it could mean also that it'll be a really quick garden tour if the rain comes down. Anyway, that's life in the garden. Let's go check it out. All right, let's start with the containers along the doorway. Wait, I feel like we have to start with the dogs. They're so confused why I'm keeping them inside while I'm out. They just get crazy. All right, container plants. At this point, like I said, everything's had a long growing season at this point. We're almost near the end and things get really tall. The papyrus grass are starting to get a little bit of a yellow tinge to them. It starts to tell us that fall might be on the way. I mean, they're not traditionally temperate zone plants. I just noticed that that's a look they start to take on this time of year in our climate. Persian shield is looking great. Oh, note to self. These verbena, the Superbena Sparkling Rosé, are definitely a star this year. They are, I mean, literally, they form a star. But they're just really pretty. I definitely want to do more of that next year. I'd say that the Dusty Miller, the Artemisia, looks really great. Definitely will do, I feel like I already know to already do those, but you can see here where I've trimmed back my petunias from one of those previous videos where they're looking scraggly, and they're coming back. Hey, look, this is what real life looks like when you're parents. We've got flippers, a water bottle, and a skateboard. I didn't grow those. They came with parenting. All right. At this point, the sweet potato vine is kind of all over the place, but look. See, like I said, you trim up those super Petunias and Petunias and they come back looking fresh and gorgeous. My blueberry plants, they didn't make blueberries this year, but they definitely doubled, maybe even tripled in size from last year. So I'm hopeful that next year will be the big haul, as it were. We'll see. And of course, Coleus, always a workhorse in my garden, growing gigantic and looking amazing. Next up, we have the rose border. I swear someday I would love to have a moment where all of them bloom at the same time, but this is probably the most blooming at the same time. It feels like it, all at once. We've got Sunshine Daydream. That's Pugsley's rose, for those of you that knew Pugsley, my dog. He used to like to pee on my roses, so that's why he gets that gorgeous color in memoriam. At last, as prolific as ever. I've got so much deadheading to do here. Hot cocoa. Look at this one. Hot cocoa has a tremendous spread going on here. Probably could benefit from some pruning, but come on. Yeah, look. See? Matched my nail polish to the hot cocoa rose. Definitely did that on purpose. Sure. That's what we've got so far. A yellow to peach to hot red. Here is Beloved, which is my red rose, but of course it's not blooming just yet. Although I do have a bud coming here. What I have noticed with this particular plant is that it does seem to be getting some dusty mildew, and I don't want to spray it, but I feel like I might have to. I've been pruning it off and that seems to be okay. So we'll see. Something to think about. Meanwhile, sweet Mademoiselle, we're just catching the tail end here. It's not maybe... Yep, let's just go ahead and call it done. We're done. But you saw it, and there's more blossoms coming. But again, I can see the powdery mildew showing up. Might have to do something about that. Okay. Next up, we have my Lavender Simplicity Rose, which never got much bigger than this all season. I feel like I pruned it really hard back, being kind of cavalier, and I'm wondering if this is the one time I pruned too far. We'll have to see what it does next year. I read something about how you can prune a rose to a point where it goes blind, where it doesn't bloom that season, and I'm wondering if that's maybe what happened. I mean, we'll see. A little worried about that one. Usually it's up at least as tall as these guys. We'll keep an eye on it. And then there's Ebb Tide, which finally we're starting to get some cooler temps. So it's actually getting to be more, I don't know, on screen it still looks really pink. But eventually, as it gets cooler temperatures, this becomes more of a purple. Look at all those petals. Amazing. It has a great clove smell. Okay. Here, in case, for those of you that saw the video where I pruned back my petunias to within an inch of their lives, you can see that they are definitely fully restored, looking great. I'm not sure what's happened over here. They didn't quite grow back at the same rate. Or maybe, oh, that's why. That's why we're missing, there's still a gap. If there were a plant right here, it would look a little less lopsided. Oh well, that's life in the garden. Otherwise, here on the patio area, we have a repeating mixture of the Coleus, annual salvia, and in places, now that, I mean, this is probably something to keep in mind, is that as the season goes on, some plants some annuals you put in pots stay the same height and some get taller. Coleus gets taller and taller, whereas, let's see, oh, don't mind the pots, I've been doing some tall cleaning. Whereas, in this case, the Dusty Miller that I planted over here kind of creeped into the side. It's hard sometimes to plan for how the plants will look at the end of the year. I need to learn how to prune my annual sage, for example, because right now it's gotten kind of scraggly. And as you can see from the yard, it's been really dry. Haven't been doing the best job of watering it. But again, we got all the salvia still, oh, there's no bees. Where are you? Oh, there's one. In this garden, there's always at least one bee buzzing. And that's one of those signs that when fall is truly here, is when I don't see bees anymore. They love the coleus flowers, which I should point out, this is the point, most of the season I prune off the coleus flowers because they just don't look that great. But we're getting close to the point where I want to start collecting coleus seeds for next year, because all of these coleus were grown from seed that I collected last year, which is just about as cheap as it gets. You can see you do really get a big bang for your buck. I have already learned my lesson that coleus pays for itself once you get it established. It's a bit of a slow growing seedling, but once it's going, boy, it's going. And look at that bumblebee. Where are you? Let me get you. Oh yeah. The bees really love the coleus flowers, so it's nice to finally let them have at it. And we'll do another video where we actually talk about how to collect the seeds, but look at this color. Whoa, so good. All right. Over here we have my polka dot plant and the lovey-dovey double petunias. They've gotten knocked down a couple times by the dogs, so that hasn't been great. And also, again, it's hard to predict how plants grow throughout the season, where this started out very compact, and over time the polka dot plants have continued climbing up into these spires, which are cute, but like not quite the same vibe as when I started. Oh well, you live, you learn. This one was a surprise. Reminder that in all these pots, these plant bags, were kind of experimental seeds that I just threw in to see what would take off and do well. The Snapdragons, for the longest time, did absolutely nothing, but all of a sudden, maybe it got cooler and they like that better. They've started to pick up and grow, and I've actually almost got blossoms open. That's exciting. I think this one is called Defiance. Let me see, hold on. This is why I do this. Yeah, I did it, I got it right. Snapdragon Defiance. I feel like I had 2 Snapdragons in here, but I can't spot the other tag, and it's not really growing yet, so what are you gonna do? Anyway, Snapdragons starting to look better with the cooler temps. Celosia looking really good. I believe this is Golden Plume. Pollinators really like this one too, although it seems like sometimes it's different pollinators than like the coleus. Like I see more bees on the coleus, and sometimes I've seen cool wasps. I don't know, but anyway, this one, the Celosia, took a while to take off. Although I say that now and there's a honeybee. Ha! Prove me wrong. But what's really cool about these plants, aside from the fact that the pollinators love them, I love that even the stem has a bit of a yellowish tinge to it. They look very dramatic, kind of like fireworks, I feel like, the way they spray out. So, digging that. Calendula has been fun, but I don't think I'm gonna do it again next year. It's the stems are too, I don't know, they break off when the dogs get into them. And it's only now that they're really starting to do any good growth, because they've just had it rough. Get it? Rough, like a dog. Just not a lot of bang for my buck. I think I probably won't do them next year, but if they come back in these pots, that's fine. Let's see. Here's one of my hanging baskets, my jellyfish planter style, with a silver falls dichondra. I decided to kind of just drape it there because that looked dramatic. Also, where's it gonna go? I also did a hard prune on these petunias, and you can see the Boysenberry Punch Calibrachoa Petunia, and it's starting to bloom. It's funny, I think there's like one bloom. Let's scoot ahead on exactly one bloom. Oh no, wait. There are 2 over here on this one. But I had to prune them back hard because they were starting to look scraggly, but hopefully we'll get just a little more growth out of them before fall is over. But yeah, they are looking great. I think I've got a recipe that I like, which is definitely the Super Petunia. Petunia's on top and Dichondra Silver Falls on the bottom. So I bet we'll do this again next year. Now, probably hear me go on and on about marigolds all the time, and this is why. What did I do? Like all these other plant bags, I just tossed a bunch of seeds in here, look the other way, and they are just looking amazing. Now, if I recall correctly, these marigolds are Tangerine and Panther, which is very, I love that delicate gold edging. You can see, mom always reminds me to look underneath. You can see that they're the opposite color underneath. It looks just really cool. So yeah, that's experiments for this year. I would say more marigold, more celosia, probably no snapdragons there, maybe somewhere else, but I'm not into it with the calendula. It's not really paying off. All right, remember that time when I pruned that forsythia real far down? Well, a month or two later, this is what it looks like. It's perfectly fine. That's a quick update. All right, here's the driveway garden. At this point, what I'm keeping an eye out for is my Bluebird Aster. It's finally getting to the point where it's getting little blossoms on it. I'm trying to focus that in. Technically, the September birth flower is Aster, but this one usually I find doesn't bloom until early October, but looking really good. Let's see, we got another set of blooms from the Sunglow Amber Dianthus. I bought more of those already to continue a little thread because I definitely like this. I would like more of it. I'm trying to capture how pretty a color it is. There we go. Once again. Oh yeah, we gotta like match in with my nail polish. All right, let's talk dahlias. It's been pretty quiet on the bloom side. I'm not sure what's going on over here. Although I have read that sometimes dahlias, depending on how they're fertilized, can be more prone to blooms versus leaves. I'm not sure. But I mean, there are some coming, so maybe I just gotta wait a little bit longer. They're pretty much taller than I am. This is me like reaching up past my shoulders. And there's Blue Boy, looking really good. Let's see, anything else exciting? Not much else going on right now. It's kind of quiet. The coneflowers. Yeah, 1 second, dude. The coneflowers are pretty much done for a moment. There's this one. What's still going strong, although it needs deadheading, are all of my black-eyed Susans. But not much really happening here. Let's talk front yard. Something that's really cool to see this year, now that the plant has gotten more established, is this little blue stem, Schizosacrum, that is really looking beautiful. You can see that color variegation is nice. This is a native grass too, so I do like having a bit of that going on. And in the fall, boy, life is really cool when you can get these tassels on the grasses. They just add a certain, they're not wheat, but you know, they're related. Let's see. Wormwood out here is still doing this thing where it's only silvery on the ends. I'm not sure what to think about that. Well, thanks, kiddo. Let's see, Russian sage. This is its first year, and it definitely likes this spot. This is a very hot and dry spot, so Russian sage did well. The lavender is doing well. All right, so lavender is doing really well. These two are sensational lavender, and then the lavender grosso. They definitely had a good year, so I'm excited about what they'll look like next year. All right, Petunias. Super Petunia Vista Snowdrift did a great job. Might do a different color next year, but we'll definitely, and I could have pruned it back. See, we're reaching that point again where they start to look scraggly, but that's just recently. This was a good spot for them. The heuchera is looking nice. My Festucia grass is looking a little rough, like it's drying out, but hopefully it's just drying out for the season. We'll see. My little lime hydrangea has loved being moved out of the shade from that blighted boxwood. So I think we got a good year ahead of us here. Lots of deadheading to do. Oregon grape is always happy. Oh, here's a great update. The containers I did with all my leftovers, I put over here. That's in a separate video. I'll try to remember to link below. But they are just looking really happy and lush. Look at the new caladium. Good job, guys. I don't know, I tell my flowers when they do a good job. And look, the Blew My Mind Morning Glory is starting to bloom again with those little blue flowers. Very nice. And over here, the Festucia grass look a little bit better, but they're still drying out. Might just be not their favorite time of year. The holly is starting, the berries are starting to turn red, which would be nice for winter interest. And yeah, there's not, like this other hydrangea, I already cut off the flowers, so it's pretty much done for the season, but looking nice. All right, last part of the garden is the veggie garden behind the garage. This was not a great year for this spot. I mean, maybe in some ways it was, but it got awfully wet. And my zinnias are just now starting to look good. I'm kind of jealous of a lot of my relatives and friends who have had better luck with their zinnias. But the little lime blotch, I think that's what this one is, little lime blotch. It's supposed to have a little pink blotch in the center. Did I call it little lime? No, this is queen lime, excuse me. Queen lime blotch is starting to bloom. So that's happening. The dianthus back here, La France, it's sort of growing. Like I see some that kind of look good, but not great. Definitely got too late. I planted snap peas through here, but it was definitely too late in the season. They never made it. Sad. What has been nice is my strawberry plants in the grow stock, the green stock, have been doing really well. Yeah, look at you, dude.
I can see you're blue.
You can see I'm blue. Let's see. Oh, here's some. Next time. Oh, well, the squirrels got that. It's very less than dramatic, but we've already picked off all the strawberries that grew well today. I see one back there. I think next year, another one of these notes, I'll probably just do all strawberries, like strawberries here and then strawberries below, because the lettuce and the herbs I didn't find myself using that much. Although I am also going to move this green stock closer to our side door, so maybe then I'll pick off herbs more often. But honestly, the strawberries are really a destination plant. Like I will go where they are. So that's a better success. Let's see, tomato plants. This is the time of year where they start to look real gross, for me at least. Maybe other people are taking better care of them. I think they might need some more fertilizer, but this becomes a time of year where I'm not even that invested in it. But here's another Brandywine pink. Ooh, but it's got a crack. Ugh, might still be okay. This tomato is delicious when ripe, and I will be planting more of it next year. That's another note. The green zebra has been more prolific, but I mean, it's a good tomato, but it's kind of, it's sweet and it's got a bit of sweetness, but it's mostly just citrusy, which is good, but it's not quite that tomato-y flavor that I really like. Whereas the Brandywine is just really good. That's exactly what I'm looking for in my slicer tomato. Let's see. Green beans. I've let it go completely to seed. This whole corner actually is just not looking as great as I would like. Although, rose tree is looking good. I should have pruned it, but I let that extra stalk go, so it's kind of a twofer right now. I don't know, that's not probably great, but it's not bad. More green zebras. But again, you can see the leaves are starting to get this little blackish look to them. It's not a healthy tomato, but we're trying to ride it out. We've still got some little cherry tomatoes. Once again, getting close to matching the nail polish. I guess the real showstoppers over here are still the marigolds. I mean, what if you had a garden that was only marigolds? That might be pretty glorious. They're looking so good.
Look at me.
Not right now, dude. Looking pretty. All right. I'll let them look at your Crocs. Oh wait, here, you want to do it one more time with your goggles on?
Yeah.
Put your goggles on, and then you'll look like a superhero. There, that's Joey. looking like a superhero. All right, can you say bye-bye, Joey?
Bye-bye.
All right. So that was the September 2021 garden tour. Lots of prettiness still happening. Might be a broken record from last time. I feel like I said, there's still some time ahead of us, especially depending on what kind of fall we have. As it's that first frost date that we'll be looking for. That's when the garden is really going to change. And actually there's some flowers that I think are going to do a lot better in these cooler temps, especially my marigolds, for example, I know really continue to look beautiful right up and sometimes through the first frost. Anyway, hope you all are taking some stock of your gardens this year, what you're loving, what you're not loving, what took too much work, what was like barely any work at all and ended up being glorious. Think about it now, write it down. If you're like me, I could do a whole nother video on how I keep track of my garden planning. And I'll show you some more of those when I don't have flowers to show you, because what are we gonna do when the plants are all sleeping? We're planning for next year. Anyway, take a couple notes, maybe take some pictures. That's the easiest note-taking device I have out there, is take a picture on your camera and put it on Facebook so that you at least remember what your garden looked like at different points in the season. And yeah, that's gonna be it. For all of you folks out there that have kids going back to school, see you. Take a moment for yourself to savor the moment and know that what you're doing is very difficult. But I see you. You're not alone. We're in this together. We can always go stare at our garden or somebody else's, but I'm here for you. All right, with that, happy September. Take care and talk to you all in the next video. Oh, I almost always forget. If you like this video, talk to you all in the next video. Oh, I almost always forget. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. We're still gonna have lots more content. Apologies for lulling. Like I said at the beginning of September, it just got real busy with school stuff. But subscribe. See you back again at the next video and take care. Bye.